Over $11,000 for this 2016 Kia Soul with 114,000 miles, and look at these payments. It's completely insane. We're here at Carmax, which has been in the news a lot lately because if you know anything about it, their stock dropped 20% in one day, over 44% year to date drop. And this is why, man. Look at that. And look at these payments. 22.95% for challenged. 23% loans on a Kia with 114,000 miles, and these loans are for 72 months. How do you think that's going to go? You think that's going to cause any issues? Well, it has. People are not making their payments. Their loan loss provision rose dramatically. Look at this, $12,599. Another 2016 with 106,000 miles, and you guys can see. So imagine someone gets in this thing at $324 for 72 months. You do the math on that with interest, how much they're going to end up paying. But at the end of the day, like I've been saying for months and months, the issue with Carmax is not that they're selling vehicles and they do make money on every vehicle. The problem is they make like $2,400, which is something they need to be called out for too, because at the end of the day, they're not really, I mean, what are they doing? You know, right now, what are they doing? 33,000 miles, and you guys can see the payments. But here's the deal. They're putting all these loans. They can sell these cars for whatever they want, but they still have to get the payment from the customer. So that's the problem. All these loans that were written in 2021, 2022, 2023, that paper is extremely bad, and Carmax offers their own lending. So they do things a lot different. Look at this, basically it's 14,000 plus $399 doc fee, 2018 Hyundai, and 104,000 miles. And look at that, up to 22.95. And this company, they need to get called out for doing, what do you think's gonna happen? Offering 22.95% loans, subprime lending, you think that's gonna go good? You think that's a good business model, Carmax? No, it doesn't work. People aren't gonna make their payments. You're gonna be stuck holding the bag when they have your car and they didn't pay. And people will be like, people don't understand. Carmax, they offer their own in-house lending. So yes, you can come here and purchase a car with your third-party lending, but they have a huge advantage because they can get more people done with deals, let's say higher mileage cars, because it's their own underwriting. They don't have to go through a third-party company. And there's so much bad credit, like, look at this, $13,000, 2016 Cruise with 54,000 miles. Wow, look at that, man. And look at this. A lot of lenders, I mean, come on, you know, and they're selling cars here with 100,000 miles left and right. There are a lot of lenders who will not touch cars like this, and they're so overpriced for what they are. I mean, even this Smart right here, let's just guess, yeah, basically 12,000. After you pay tax and everything, you're gonna be well over that. See, this price excludes tax, title, and tags, so it goes up, it's about 5%. Look at this, 60,000, and then you guys can see. So it's just crazy, but it all makes sense. I've been saying it for months and months and months. Carmax has increased their loan loss provision. They're not making the payments. That's the issue. They can sell all these cars. They can look good on paper because their profit per vehicle has never been higher. So they're making the most money per vehicle, but they're selling it. The person's just not making the payment. So it doesn't really matter how much you get for it, you know? It doesn't matter. I can't even see the window sticker. But this is a C8 Corvette. These things have dropped like no other because you can get them for pennies on the dollar below MSRP nowadays. The whole market has shifted. But with CarMax, there's so many people who love CarMax because you can come here, you don't have to negotiate. They're not gonna call you 35 times. It is different from a normal dealership, but it's still a dealership, and they're trying to screw you over. There's no other way around it. 26,000 2020 Volvo, 51,000 miles. That's why you know, just the fact that they offer 22.95%, it just goes to show they'll screw whoever they want over. And I know that person got in that situation with bad credit and all that stuff, but it's just stupid business. You know, like, you're given credit, you're given access to a car with someone that obviously hasn't made their payment. So what do you think's gonna happen? But the management, the executives can't get enough of the money. They want to get as much money as possible, as quick as possible. So they're gonna give loans to anybody. 22.95%, they don't care. 2024 Nissan, wow. Come on, man. And imagine somebody getting it at 22.95%. They just need to be called out for that time and time again. But it's just crazy, and it's good to see it happen because I have been saying it for a long time. Carmax is not in a good situation. You can go back in my videos, all my Carmax videos. I have been talking about the stock. Nothing's investment advice, but I've said a lot of people have said to stay away from Carmax stock. I've said it time and time again, and then it drops 30% in the, it's just crazy. 23 or 24,000, 28, ooh, this Jaguar, wouldn't want this thing, 41,000 miles. Someone's gonna get in this thing for a $617 payment for 72 months. So it's just a complete mess. And then Carmax, they make a lot of their money selling their warranties and the financing. That's where a lot of their money comes from. It's the warranties and the finance. And so that's where they get money after money. And you got to think all that stuff adding up, because a lot of the, I'm not a fan of any sort of aftermarket anything when it comes to the dealership selling warranties. Gap, forget about it. Don't give them any extra profit. 18,000, 2020 Dodge, 46,000 miles. Yeah, this stuff's way overpriced, man. Way overpriced. It makes complete sense why their stock dropped like a rock. It makes all the sense in the world. And look, you can tell this thing's been in it, it's not even aligned. It's misaligned. The cars are crap. Half of them have been in wrecks. You just don't know the history because CarMax doesn't really care, and they're getting a lot tighter. It's funny. This is how corporate deals with it. They tell all their employees, all right, now we got to start tightening up. Don't spend a lot of money on these cars. We got to really, steal the car. Don't give them a lot of money for it. They're trying to be well below market now, and they're getting worse cars on their lot. It's definitely showing. $20,000, 2017 Mercedes GLC 300 with 61,000 miles. I wonder what this costs new. This thing was probably, who knows, 60, 65, 70 grand. And now it's selling for pennies on the dollar. But let me know what you think. We had to come here to CarMax, and I know some people might find a good deal here. It's just almost every single one of them is super overpriced. And at the end of the day, after what they did with their credit issues and giving out way too many loans, they're in a bad situation. $19,000, 116,000 miles. You guys can see 22. Now, if this had, let's say it had half the miles, I'd be like, okay, but of course it's going to have, 200,000 miles for all we know at CarMax. So CarMax has no other situation but to get older vehicles with higher miles and to sell it to people at longer loan terms at super high interest rate loans. And this is the only way they can do it. So it's really interesting. We're about to see what happens, but it's not looking pretty. Year to date, over 40% down, and the stock drops 20% in one day. It's not a good day for CarMax, man, but we have been waiting for this. So let me know what you think. Have a great day and stay blessed.